Cabin Time, we're your host, Kat.
And Maddie.
Discuss a wide variety of topics. And today we're mostly, I think, going to be talking about role-playing. But did you want to talk about the other thing first or later?
Is the other thing start with anime?
Yes.
End with anime?
Yes.
We can start with anime.
Okay, sure. Because I've been... I think I've been pretty much caught up on all the new stuff that's aired so far, other than Shield Hero and Love is War, because, I don't know, I'm saving those for last, so I guess I don't have to wait longer if I end up enjoying them.
That's fair.
But out of this season, because you haven't watched anything yet, right?
Correct. I'm watching a little show called Comey Can't Communicate off of Netflix.
Oh, nice. I'm curious to hear your opinion of it, because I both liked it and did.
You know what? I think I have the same opinion.
Okay.
And I think I know exactly why.
I'm curious. Why do you think that?
Okay. Well, not... Okay. Because I think, like, a lot of people will like it and not like it. They like it because, you know, it's cute. It's a nice story. Someone's trying to help someone, you know. But they really shove that social anxiety message.
Yeah.
Like, really, really hard. And, like, we get reminded every opening. And I'm just like, okay, guys, I understand that you animate this for a certain way to signify certain things. I get it. You don't need to spell it out for me every single time, please.
No, apparently they do.
It's getting tiring. Getting tired.
Oh, that actually reminds me before we go into things. My brother's home, so you might hear him in the background, and so yeah, that's going to be the norm for a couple of episodes. But yeah, no, that is part of it. The other part of it is the characters in the class, and in fact the entire school, are so over the top. I find it drowns out the message of we're trying to get this shy girl to open up.
That's true. I'm only four in.
Yeah, there's an episode that's going to happen real quick that nearly made me drop the entire show. Because one of the characters does something that I don't think is redeemable, honestly.
Oh.
Mini eggs.
Mini eggs? I'm recording a podcast
egg.
and you want mini eggs? Why don't you go watch your movie, bud? Bye-bye.
Yep.
He's realized I hit
There's
the
Colin.
mini eggs because this morning I was making thumbprint cookies and I was going to put a mini egg in the thumbprint part, and I hear behind my back, and then I look around and he's got his hand to his mouth and crunch, 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 crunch. So I've now hidden the mini eggs because otherwise he's going to eat them all behind my back.
Yep. No, that's fair.
So he's realized they're hidden now, and I don't think he's terribly happy about that. But yeah. Sometimes you gotta protect someone from themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I want to like Comey Can't Communicate. I like the bits where it's just her and him and them working together to get her out of her shell.
Yeah. And I also like the division where like he can understand what she's doing and everyone else can't, so they do they're reading her wrong version first, and then they do what she's actually trying to do. And I was like, okay, that's cool, because yes, some people, like, if you know a person well enough, you can fully read their body language and how they're trying to do certain things, and other people just won't. Yeah, that's true. That's nice. That's cute. But yeah, I'll also agree on the characters that they're extreme.
Yeah.
They're extreme. They're very extreme.
Some of them are fun, but a lot of them I was just like, you're getting in the way of my cute slice of life show. Go away. I get it's a cute slice of life comedy show, but go away. Go away.
Mm-hmm. Please go away.
But yeah, the second season started airing, so I don't know, maybe I'll watch it later. I don't know. Maybe not.
2 seasons, huh?
Yeah. So it didn't take long for the 2 seasons to come out. I think the first season was not this past season, but the one before that. So that's nice.
That is nice.
Nice and quick. But yes, I want to talk about the 2 shows, one of which you're watching. I don't fucking care if you were planning to watch this or not. You're watching. Okay? You're watching.
Okay.
You're watching.
I'm watching.
You are.
I'm watching.
Okay. So the first show, the one that if you watched, I'd be very happy, but I'm not going to force you. Bookworm season 3 started, and it was leaving out some of the darker stuff in season 2 that I was worried that they were going to gloss over, but they start immediately in season 3 with, oh yeah, the Ink Guild is out to potentially kidnap a fucking child. Things are happening that makes her have to change her living situation to keep her family safe. And one of the people who works for her boss is trying to screw over the person who works for him in pretty insidious ways that are never even really truly spoken of in the book. It's just kind of hinted at. So yes, good shit. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Oh, so like real life business.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good.
But,
that's what we all want.
Yes, but it's really good. The intro and ending songs are great. Yesterday, I bought 4 standees that Ami Ami put up, and if you are watching the show and you want to buy those standees, do it, but do not look at the base. Just look at the top, buy the stand. Don't look at the base until the season's over, okay? Just trust me on that.
There's spoilers in the base.
Spoiler on all of the new merch. And I'm like, wow. I get it, because considering the spoiler is so front and center, that tells me that they are going to zoom through part 2 and the spoiler won't matter anymore. But at this point, it's like, oh my god, like, that's kind of a big... I've been really careful about not spoiling that myself, because I have now, for the past, 8 books, had that spoiler in my face. It's hard for me to remember. Most people aren't there yet. So yeah, that was a fun, me showing my friend, like, oh my god, look at this cute standee. Wait, no, don't look.
Wait, don't look at it. Don't do it. It's a trap.
It's a trap. I'm a liar. Just look at the link, but don't look too hard and buy it if you want. Fuck me. And yeah, but the show you and Sal need to watch is Spy Family.
Oh, Spy Family. Okay.
It's so cute. I have only had Anya for 5 minutes, but if anything happened to her, I kill everyone in this room and then myself. That's pretty much how the fandom feels about her, and it's true. She's great. She is so expressive and adorable, and it's a great comedy show because it's playing the comedy straight. Right? So
interesting. Okay.
But yeah, the first episode was really good and sweet, and I think you would enjoy it a lot. I was practically in tears the entire time, just going, oh my god, this is so adorable and funny, and I love her, and I love him, and I can't wait to meet the mom. So yeah, that was my day.
That's a good day.
It's a good day. So on to roleplay?
Things happen. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I think people know me good enough by now, maybe, that I play Dungeons and Dragons. Well, I don't quite play Dungeons and Dragons. I play Pathfinder.
You play Pathfinder?
I do play 5e.
Oh, okay.
Every now and then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, like, you made a big fuss last time about the fact that you don't play Dungeons and Dragons.
I don't. I mostly play Pathfinder. It's the system I like more because it's more complex, and I spent the 10 years, whatever it takes, to learn it. So, yeah. But, yeah, no, I've dabbled in both. I watch Critical Role because I like stories, and they're professional voice actors, and they're good at improv and shit. And then, yeah, I play. And, you know, at the beginning, it definitely, 13 start out, it's definitely a video game in a board game form. It's just, there's rules, and you want to be strong, and you want to win. And then, 5 years go by, and I see the value of actually trying to role play.
What?
And, yeah, right? Trying to create your own stories. And, that's just fun. That's great. The interaction, talking, I don't know. It's just, role-playing is so fun. And it's such a creative release of just, if you can't art, you're not good at writing, but
collaborative storytelling.
Yeah, that. And it's really hard to describe my love for this because I met my boyfriend off of this. I've been playing it. I have like my main current friend group is based off of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just means so much to me. and role playing is great, and I don't know how else I could say role playing is so much fun. But I could do a good disclaimer, which is role playing is awesome, but bad D&D exists.
It does. It does.
And this is the quote I hear the most often off of whenever I'm just checking out some I'm checking out some I know I browse Reddit and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The big phrase is no D&D is better than bad D&D.
Yeah, I having done bad D&D, as in been a player in a bad D&D campaign. Yeah, there's a reason I don't play, and it's because of the bad D&D.
Yeah,
I've had more bad D&D than good D&D, unfortunately. So
yeah, and that's a dang bummer.
Yeah,
because
and like I'm not trying to throw my DMs under the bus, because one of them was great. It was the players I was playing with that were shit.
Yeah, that also happens. Each situation is so different.
Yeah, so I like. Yeah, I've tried D&D 3 times. And when I say that, I mean 3 different campaigns with 3 different DMs. And each time is like, yeah, no, this isn't for me, because I can't make. So I was gonna bring this up later, but I might as well bring it up now. I have OCs that are independent of anything at all, right? I can't necessarily make them fit into a D&D style universe. But I didn't want to make new characters because I've got like 50 of them. Surely one could fit the bill. But I couldn't ever make it work in a way that was fun. So my question to you is, do you see these characters as OCs, or were they OCs by the fact that you've now created their story collaboratively with friends? Like, were they before or after type of, these are mine, these are my babies?
So that's like a journey I had, because the first couple characters I didn't see them as characters. They were they were classes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. They were just like, oh, this is my fighter character. Learn how to play this, But like, I think the very first time I made, because we basically did a whole campaign with me being young and an idiot and learning rules and shit, and that ended, and I had gone through three characters. Yeah, 3 characters, Jesus. And we campaign ended, and then the player I was playing with decided I'm gonna run something, which I didn't know. He actually had run stuff before. Just I wasn't part of it because I was fucking like 12.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
So they finally invited. Actually Sal invited me, and this is way before we started dating or anything. But he invited me, and he was like, Sal's always been the role play guy, the character guy, the stories guy, the creative guy.
Right.
And he was like, hey, so we're doing this is a pirate campaign. You want to play? And I was like, oh, the time's kind of weird, but I think I can make it work. He was like, great. You want help making a character? I was like, sure. And so he started asking me all these questions about, like, do you want to know each other? Oh, maybe we should come from here. Oh, what do you want to do? What's your class? Okay, how about what's our relationship? And that's when I started thinking, wow, I should
think about that stuff.
I should think about that stuff. Maybe that will make for, like, maybe that'll make things more than just I hit things. So yeah, I made that character, and that started happening, and that was like, okay, I had to get a feel for it. So that started happening. And then the current campaign we were in ended, and that DM started another campaign, and I was like, okay, now I gotta make another character, because this is like a rapid creation of characters. And I was making this by myself. Someone recommended, actually, yeah, someone recommended, hey, why don't you make a barbarian? Because we're all casters and we need meat points. And I was like, fine. So I did that. But I thought about things. I was like, okay, well, I'm not good at writing backstory shit. So how about, a barbarian? We're in the north. Okay, how about I'm from a tribe? Okay, how about I'm a rare barbarian? I actually like magic. I had a like a magical ward. Like I protected someone learning magic, and then I thought about these things. It's like, oh, maybe I have blue eyes because I had to deal with their magic, and so the magic infused it. So I thought about all this stuff, and it actually influenced how I played for the first time, and that was like a new experience.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and it's so weird because I've always been like a mechanics guy first, or gal.
Yeah,
Mechanics gal first. Gameplay has to be fun. We actually had an episode about like what matters. Like a while ago.
Yeah.
And if you actually noticed, I actually don't remember what I rated first. I think I actually did rate gameplay first still.
But makes sense, like based on knowing you.
Yeah, but like gameplay mattered, but suddenly story was being like, oh well, I rolled shittily, but I'm now no longer pissed for the rest of the session. Because I rolled badly. And so it's really I haven't really thought about this.
Yeah, sorry to spring it on you. It's just it was something I was curious about because when I played, I found I was a character in this world, and my friends were playing classes.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh well, I guess I've got this ability, so I'll use that. It's like, can we be a little in character? Just a smidge, because like my D&D was not my first introduction to role playing in general. My first introduction to role playing was on a forum. So it was completely different from what I was used to, and I thought we as players were supposed to be in character, and that is not what they wanted to do apparently.
Yeah, a lot of people are like gameplay first. Even part of our group is like gameplay first, but part of our group can also see the value of we'll role play. They like the game, they like the rules, they like the set, like they like the structure, but they will role play.
Yeah.
And so gameplay was first, but suddenly thinking about like, oh, how should I talk to this NPC, or wow, I like did something in character, but like that actually made Sal's character upset or him upset. I don't know, and like I had to, I was like, I had to actually think and be like, oh shit, okay, how do I stay in character but like apologize for the thing I did, because there was reasons that I wanted that person dead,
right, and
I acted on them. But he was like the captain of the ship at the time, and he was like that. We basically private DM'd each other in Discord, even though we were all both at the table, because this was like a side conversation, and some people didn't know the information I was saying. So right. I kind of just side DM'd. I was like, do you want to talk about it? And he's just like, no, I just don't like that you did this. It superseded my authority. Just don't make a habit of this. She said something along that line. Right. I was like, okay, got it out of the way. But like, instead of being like, no, die, whatever, I actually had to be like, consequences. Okay, I have to talk this out real quick, and those kind of moments where it's just like, oh, I have to RP real quick. Those are what's standing out more now than like epic battles.
Yeah, and that's pretty awesome, honestly. Like, because when the couple times I've done it, I think if I had had a system where I could just DM people who I was with so that we could get our information out to each other without the rest of the group hearing it, because the amount of time in that first campaign I did where it was like, okay, we're off to the side talking, and then the asshole player would be like, oh, well, I think we should do this based on the things he heard us physically say, but his character had no idea what we were saying.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, dude, you gotta play with us here, please.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate when people act on information that their character was not there for.
Yeah. Colin, stop snooping for mini eggs. Get out of the kitchen.
No mini eggs.
No mini eggs.
No mini eggs.
I'm worried that he'll find them because that's also where the peanut butter and syrup is hidden. Because he'll just like take the peanut butter and eat it with his fingers. We need locks on our cupboards is pretty much what I'm getting at.
Uh-huh.
But yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you kind of made the shift because I assume it makes it a bit more fun.
Oh, it does. But you have to the downside of that is that if there's not a healthy amount of like combat and like important non-jokey role play, then I kind of start getting like antsy and being like, okay, this isn't that fun anymore. Because the end of our latest campaign, it started dragging out way too long.
Okay.
And it was just like constant like battles and like time limits, even though it was like it was stressed as like you don't have a time limit, but like every like piece of information we were getting was just like no there's a time limit, like the world's ending unless we're doing stuff. And so there was never like how in Persona
mm-hmm.
Persona 4 had like the fun like school chapters and like the school festival and all this like lighthearted stuff, and Persona 5 didn't.
Yeah.
And that was a angry thing for like Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Basically that was happening where like I had been in 2 campaigns where it's like, okay, we had good role play, we had mixtures of things, we didn't have like a strict time limit of bad things are happening and we're not all powerful. I mean, we were powerful, but we managed it and like things, but then we shift to this, and for a while it was fine, and then it just started dragging on because of the Great Panini, and it just started being like, okay, can we end? Okay, can we be done? Okay, we gotta go to the next fight. All right, now this is dragging on. Oh, the big bad's doing this. Oh, the big bad's twirling his mustache and has another thing in our way. Can we just? I'm tired of fighting. Can we just not? Can we stop? I'm tired. I'm done. Because there was no like stop, and I want to talk to my NPCs, or I want to manage my base, or I want to. Everybody was just like, go. Even NPCs you talk to, just like the world is ending, and even though that's not really what they were saying. But but I get there was no like jokey, lighthearted role play. It was all like bad, and I was like, I'm tired. I want to. And then it had the double thing of like our party wasn't really a party.
Oh, okay.
We never like formed a party. We all like didn't really like each other.
Oh no.
Yeah. So that was the other thing of just like, yeah, we're kind of forced to be together. But if like I had a choice, I would have dumped at least one of these people by now. But because one of our unspoken rules is no PvP, you have to like work with each other, which helps because you don't have to have that anger of like, wow, a PC killed me. Okay, you don't have to deal with that, but at the same time it's just like, okay, well, a PC is constantly acting like a dick and shady and is getting mad for me mistrusting them. And then at the very end the very, very end is just like, oh yeah, I was gonna betray you, but don't worry, I'm not evil in any way. I am neutral. And I'm just like, fucking bullshit. Like, oh my god, I hated dealing with that character and that player playing that character for so long. I could go on just a huge rampage of like amount of things I disliked about that. But I won't. Also, this person probably will never listen to this podcast, so I don't have to worry about that. But it's just like stuff like that.
It's not that you hate them, it's that you didn't like the way that things were being handled. You're allowed to dislike how things were being handled.
Yeah. Oh, I'm already getting into my like, oh, God, I'm so annoyed again.
Oh no.
But that party, no role play. Party wasn't a party. There was no way to like vent my like I want to talk to. I want just lighthearted role play. I want the mixture. So I like kind of pent everything up, and I was just like, okay, I'm ready to be done. Finally, we hit the end session. End session had a healthy amount of role play. It was great. It was a release. Then we took a break for 3 weeks, and it was just like, all right, I'm ready for my next character. I've been writing this background forever. I've been talking, like, I am literally girlfriend to the DM, and he doesn't bounce important stuff off of me, but like he like, you know, he picks my brain, and then I tell him stuff about my character, so he has more stuff to work with for me, and all this stuff. And it's just like, okay, I'm so ready. I'm so ready just to be a nobody. So ready just to be a. I'm not tied to, because my other characters are also tied to important people. Like now I'm not tied to anybody. I am just a druid with a wolf. I have reasons for how I act. So like I have all that stuff written down, and we had like session 0, which is really, I will say, really important to have a session 0 to lay down some rules and try to build.
So is a session 0 just where you discuss how you're starting, or is that like a planning phase?
A session 0 is basically a planning phase where you could have some role play. You could have some you're playing moments, but the campaign hasn't really started yet. Gotcha. This is like you guys. This is like how people are meeting. This is just like role play, setting the scene kind of stuff. Or before even that happens, it's the DM saying, okay, listen. If you're playing with strangers, this is like important, but it's like, okay, here's the ground rules. You know, not going to talk about, you know, like rape. We're not going to breach that. No PvP. You know, you go over the rules. You set expectations. This is what this is going to be like. So really important to have a session 0. So you guys aren't off on a different pages and expecting things that might not happen because every DM is different and every player is different. We didn't really need to have that. We had it just because we wanted to set up our care. We wanted to meet each other and not have the, okay, you're forced to work with each other. Go.
Right.
So we had a session 0 ish where we started talking, you know, we were starting to, flesh out accents. Like, okay, I'm going to talk. This is how I talk when I'm in character. How do I know you? Oh, you went to my store when, you went to my family's store, so I'm going to know you from that. Oh, you live in the forest. Well, I'm a druid, and I actually hang out mostly in the forest together and stuff, and I don't like people for reasons I will not disclose.
Of course.
And, okay, so I'm going to know you through this, and then, you know, Trevor, who's playing a girl, is like, okay, well, he always talks to his characters in, like, third person. So she'll be like, she'll call you, you know, this. She's kind of like an Aztec person, so she's like, he kind of does in-depth stuff like this, and he's like, okay, she's gonna call you this, which is like the Aztec word for wolf, because I have a wolf guardian companion, and his character's kind of religious, so he thinks I'm protected by the wolf, you know, stuff like that. And it's like, okay, this is how I'm gonna act here, and then someone else is like, okay, I'm a loner. We're gonna be meeting for our assignment, because that's how we're together right now. Is we're different faces of the city. We all live in different places, so all these kind of young faces of the city are going out on like a scouting mission to try and find something, a crusader who went lost, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Surprise! It was a cultist doing. Anyway, but yeah, so it's like, okay, so you act like that, you know, I act like this. I know you. This is so you feel it out. Then that ends. Fresh session last week. And we already have laid some groundwork of like, okay, this is how we, you know, what I just said. And it's like super, and we flow right into just a combat. Like session 0, Sal, who's our DM, is like, all right, you're running away. You're breathless, you know. He's like in his storyteller mode, which funnily enough, I personally dislike his storyteller voice, but he knows that because he's DM before.
I was gonna say, you're gonna say this on a podcast he may listen to?
No. He knows that. That. And I said, yeah, you hit the storyteller voice. He's like, yeah, I know, but that was the opening, and I didn't do it again. I'm like, you're right, you didn't. That was fine. Listen, communication is key in relationships. Anyway, so yeah, he did that, and then it's just like, okay, you stumble in, you look by, you suddenly everyone hears sword clatters, roll for initiative, and everyone looks at each other. I was like, oh shit. You know, like, combat, like, minute 1, combat. And that just allows everyone to be like, oh, right, we've been excited for 3 weeks about these characters. We're able to show off, like, our the gameplay wise, our builds, we're able to show off our classes right away and like infuse our personalities with that because we've already done kind of the personality building, right? And so that combat went great. It was like a little bit of role play involved, and people were fighting and using their spells. Awesome. And then we delved into like the mystery of like what's happening in this town, cultists. But you know, we had to figure that out.
Yeah,
it actually took us a while to figure that shit out. But yeah, that beginning of like laid the groundwork, actual session 0, right into combat, right into okay, this is going to basically be RP for the rest of the time. But it didn't feel, it felt like super fresh and fun, and everyone looked like they had a good time, and everyone had something to do. It was so much fun, especially after you've been starved for 3 weeks deliberately.
Yes.
to build that up. And everyone had spent those 3 weeks, you know, building their characters, thinking of how they were, you know, thinking of their personalities, thinking of their backstories, all this stuff. And it all came together in that first session. And I think it happened successfully. And while I don't feel camaraderie with one character because he's playing the same kind of character he always plays, but we'll see how that ends up. We'll see, you know. We'll see. Can't build anything off of session 1. But
on that note, though, do you find that you tend to build different characters every time, or do they tend to have a similarity personality-wise?
I've built mostly marshals, which is characters that run up and hit things with a sword, or bow and arrow, rather than ooh, I'm the spellcaster. You know, this time I wanted to build a spellcaster.
Nice.
Recently, most of my things have had that tie of I'm a marshal. I run up and hit. Have I tried to tie different personalities to each one? Yeah, kinda. But each one is kind of like a similar thread of me, right?
Right.
One's a barbarian who is less talkative. Okay, one is a hotshot archer who kind of watches from the shadows, but is like the real puppet, you know, like captain. Right. And then one was, hey, I'm related to the captains that I just mentioned. I'm important and I'm cocky and I run with that. So like, yeah, they each had a different thing, but could I confuse them if you didn't like? If I acted each one out, would people confuse them as the same person? Probably. Just because.
Sure. I was just curious. It's not a comment or anything. I have a lot of characters that are very similar to each other too. It's just because you've been going on this journey with your characters. I was like, I wonder if you're trying new personalities every time, or if it's just like little changes here, little changes there.
It's definitely, well, as of yeah, they were definitely littler changes. This time, it's hard to completely deviate from like how me as a person will act because I'm just not that good. Sorry. But this time it's just like, okay, I wanted to play a spellcaster. I wanted to play a full spellcaster, like the runaway, I don't hit things spellcaster. I was unable to because the normal spellcaster mains in our party decided they still wanted to play a spellcaster, so we need someone who can run up and hit things.
Right.
So I compromised. I played a full spellcaster, but I played a full spellcaster that could hit things, i.e. a druid.
There you go.
And, you know, once I went over the annoyance of like, this isn't what I wanted to play for the next 3 years. I wanted to be a wizard. I wanted to be that wizard. That wizard who is like, I'm going to research spells and do that. Got over that. Realized I was going to be this class. Built a backstory around it. Realized I liked that backstory. Thought more about it. Did research about the areas I was from. Talked with Sal. Did all this groundwork. And I am having fun.
Madness. And
I'm trying to not be the same personality. This is the first character I'm actually trying to hold an accent for.
Oh, wow.
One. Yeah. It's nothing super, super fancy.
But still, it can be hard, yeah.
Yeah. If anyone knows Peaky Blinders.
Okay.
The show, and Tommy Shelby, I'm doing that voice.
Okay.
It's kind of a soft-spoken British voice.
Gotcha.
But, yeah. First character I'm doing that. First character where I am like full tilt, not a full human,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I was gonna say, I know in the picture you had me draw, those were all human-esque type characters, right?
Yeah, I'm either an elf or a human in most of those.
Yeah.
I am not. I am a humanoid. I
Mm-hmm.
have 2 feet. I have hands.
This is
I
true.
kind of even look like a human. But I am not. I am not a human, and I think all my party knows this based on how I've been acting.
Right.
Um, but so I lean more into I don't like talking to people, which is different.
Mm-hmm.
Even though as a person I kind of also don't like talking to new people, but this is D&D, so I'm way more open. Um, don't like talking to people. Think uh way more talks, I'm a druid. I leaned full into the I talk to nature. I'm a naturalist.
Right.
Kind of point of view. Um but the other thing is I'll always do plays I think are correct in a combat or even outside of a combat, but I'm not going right for like the what's the word I'm looking for? Not meta, but like optimal. I'm not always doing the like, okay,
min-maxing or
I need to hit things is what I'm best at. I need to do this specifically like this. I'll see that and I'll say, okay, I should probably do this. But there's another side play that might make it more interesting. So I'll do this instead. So I'm kind of changing my mindset a little bit, and having a different DM helps with this because not not shitting on our forever DM who is now a player right now.
Mm-hmm.
But he tunes things to the highest common denominator, so
Gotcha.
you have to play perfectly, otherwise you're dead. Which is like, that's a way to do it. That's fine. Just a little tired of that.
Yeah.
Ready to mix it up. So I have been grown on, okay, got a min-max, but I now have a little bit of room to be like, how about this though? And that's great. That's fun. It keeps it fresh.
Exactly.
And the sad thing is, I read a lot of stuff where I know there are people out there who want to play D&D or roleplay or whatever, and they either, 1, can't find the right groups,
Mm-hmm.
2, deal with bad D&D, 3, found a group, but it's not what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not their style of what they want to do. And I actually really kind of don't have advice for that other than
try lots of different people.
Go out there, do online groups, go to gaming stores. A lot of gaming stores have those role play nights, and just try to find the group that meshes with you, because from experience, having one of those, we have our difficulties. Sometimes we get angry at each other, but we know each other well enough. We know how we want to play. We know usually how not to tick each other off. We can read the room, I have a good group to have fun D&D shenanigans and serious stuff in, and I know I'm one of the lucky ones.
Right. Well, and like I think one hint I could give based on my life with role playing, which again isn't tabletop, and we'll get into that in a minute. Know what you like and what you don't like, because that will help you find a group faster. Because if you just flat out say, I like this, I don't like this, and somebody can be like, oh, well, I like that, so I'm probably not a good match for you. Like, you may not know what you like, but the more you try, the more you'll figure out what you like and what you don't like, and be upfront about it. It's not playing the game bad or wrong. It's just letting people know what you're into. I don't like combat, so that kills most tabletop games for me right there.
Yeah.
I just find it tedious and boring and long, and it's like, I'd rather have the dice rolls be for shit like, okay, you're trying to persuade this NPC into doing something for you, than this dice roll determines how much damage you do. That's where it loses me.
Which, that is part of the game.
It is.
Yeah. Having that, like, you're trying to talk to someone, you're trying to convince someone to do what you want. Okay, roll a diplomacy, and that's for the dice to tell you. And of course, your character, you're either kind of good at it or you're but like, even if you didn't build for that way, the optimal play of course would be like, oh yeah, have the person who has the highest skill ranks in this thing always do the talking. You could play like that, that's fine. But like, it's also fun in a dice rolling game where, like, okay, I suck at this. I'm gonna go for it anyway because I would say this.
Yes.
You get the skill check and you're like, all right, well, dice gods wish me luck. And when you roll high and you still make the check, feels great.
It does.
And you could build stuff off of that. Roleplay wise.
Also, when you completely fuck up, that can feel great too, because you're like, oh god, how do I get out of this absolutely terrible situation that I put myself in because I was a cocky asshole and went, let me try and roll for that.
Yeah. It's called failing forward.
Exactly.
And it's fun.
It really can be.
Yeah, if you're trying to find a group, it's great to know if, like, okay, I like combat heavy campaigns. Okay, I like role-playing heavy campaigns. Okay, don't really like combat, don't really like the running around the world, but I do like intrigue. And an intrigue campaign is kind of like where you're in a city, like you kind of just stay there, and It's mostly like social events, and it's a lot of roleplay.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you're fresh and you don't know what the hell any of that is, and you just gotta go out and dip your toes in and figure out what you like, which you have to do with most things.
Exactly. And if it isn't for you, that's okay. Maybe you enjoy watching other people play, like Critical Role. I know there's a lot of those online campaigns. That's just like one of the more popular ones, right?
Oh yeah, Critical Role is like the popular one,
the biggest one.
But there's like Dimension 20. That's a good one. I'm sorry, I don't know a lot of other ones. I know there's like one that does like Vampire the Masquerade, because there's also a lot of. Here's the other thing. There's a lot of other freaking systems and
that's the thing.
5e or Pathfinder.
If you're not digging Pathfinder or D&D, there are so many other things. I have seen a con I used to go to that may actually be dead now thanks to the Panini, so sad. But they would do a 4-hour long campaign every Saturday of their con, and it was like it was a lot of fun, and the rules were very loose. It was like, okay, here's a D6 and here's a D20, and that's all you're gonna need for this. That may be a campaign that works better for you if you enjoy the more fast and loose type, go with the punches. I would probably be better in a campaign like that. I don't do good with rules. Yeah, you can't tell me what to do.
You'll probably like the system of Fate, which is a D6 system, where basically there are no rules. You just go, oh, anything goes. Whatever your DM makes, and you just say something. You have flaws, and you have like traits, or what you're good at, and you just do stuff, and you say, okay, I'm a alchemist. We're walking through this factory trying to find like the corrupt guy. Well, there's some chemicals around. I'm gonna mix those up, and I'm gonna do this, and that happens. Like, there's not a rule. Whatever you say goes, right. And your dungeon master or whatever says, okay, roll. You have like a set stats, like a bunch of stats. So it's like, okay, roll tenacity or something, and then however many you have, that's how many d6s you roll, and this like 4 up is a success, and like that's it.
Yeah.
And that's the system, and you just say things, and your DM says, okay, you use this to roll, see if it works. Yeah, that's it. And I don't like it. No, I actually really don't like
considering you said earlier you prefer the more complex rule sets. I can see a set like that being just incredibly frustrating for you.
I'm just also not creative enough for that shit. I was like, unless there's like, these are your actions. You could do this, 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 and this. When you're just in a free form, it's just like, and then everyone else is doing crazy shit, and you're like, okay, now I can't do that. And I just sit there, and I just don't know what to do. The one time I played Fate, I literally just played a monster hunter, and I was like, I shoot the thing with my sniper. That is my contribution, because I cannot think of anything cool or interesting to do.
Oh god, fair. Because we are obviously never going to be playing a role-playing game together, because we are completely opposite in this regard. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just knowing that beforehand, because otherwise you're going to have a bad time.
Yep. which is fine. Listen, I dipped my feet in. I didn't
Yep.
enjoy it, but I tried it.
You tried
and
it.
I know about it now.
Yes. And that's what matters, because yeah, I've had as I mentioned before, I've been role playing both on forums and back on this thing called MSN. Do you know what
Whoa.
MSN is, Maddie? You probably don't, because you're too young. You're baby.
Is it like a shorthand for Messenger by any chance?
It's essentially what Hotmail was or whatever. Like, it was an IM system that is, I think, dead.
Yep. IM systems. Yep.
Yep. And you know, before Skype, for crying out loud, like this thing is,
wow, that's a dead thing too.
I know, right? But that's pretty much my journey with roleplay. Is I started on forums, I moved to MSN. Then MSN was a pile of poop that had a character limit. Ew, when you're trying to type out a story, that's no good. We moved to Skype, which didn't have a character limit at the time. I don't know if they included one later. I don't remember if they ever did. Either way, that was great for big blocks of paragraphs. And then more recently, I've moved to Discord. And yeah, when you mentioned session 0, that reminds me about how on this one Discord I'm on for role playing, and when I say it's for role playing, it's me and 2 other people, but it's only ever one-on-one role play.
Yeah.
Where literally we have a thing called a think tank, and it's just like, I want to do a campaign that has this, and then another person goes, oh, if you do that, then I could do this, and it's like, yes, and then what's our magic rules gonna be? And it's like, okay, it's gonna be that. What kind of people populate this universe? Great, this. Okay, cool, great, awesome. And then we let it like percolate for a couple of weeks, and then one of us goes, okay, I'm gonna write the intro now, bye.
So you world build.
We world build.
You do the world building. Ah, yes. That's a fun when it's a group activity.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, I've done the world building with more than one person at a time, but I have found it's good to at least have one person in control of the entire world. Like, these are the overall, we cannot break these rules of the world rules. That's... Give me a second. Kiddo! Yelling? What's all the yelling about? I'll have to keep this short because he's having a day because I hid the mini eggs on him. But yeah,
That's
no,
fun.
I like the collaborative storytelling of this type of role playing just because it's usually like one of us will take control. We won't have to say who's taking control. It'll usually just go back and forth. If it's 2 people, if it's 3 people, it'll be like, do you want it or should I? Or okay, cool, great, go. And it's just like we build the world, we write it as if we're writing a novel. So like, let's say not necessarily he said, she said, but that kind of writing. And yeah, I have had bad IM role plays with people. Specifically, there's this one person who seemed really cool at first, and then they're like, I started moving the plot forward, and they're like, well, what are you gonna do with that? And I'm like, what do you mean, what am I gonna... I'm moving the plot forward. Like, we've established the world, we've established these 2 characters' relationships. It was like a sci-fi roleplay, which was actually my first time doing one. And they had a character who was human and I had a robot. And it was like, the robots are rising up, but this human is my friend. I protect my friend.
Yeah.
And so they're like, well, what are we going to do? Like, we need to plan... You done, buddy? We need to plan this out. And then she was like... Or I was like, why don't we just go with the flow and see what happens?
Yep.
I don't plan. Ever.
Yes and.
Exactly. This is, for me, role-playing is like... Colin,
just so you know, I hear nothing.
You're not hearing him?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe he was being loud enough, but cool. Okay. My mic.
Well, now I hear him.
Yeah. Well, I guess when I'm talking, it'll pick him up. Colin. Yeah. Colin, sweetie, please. Thought the movie would last a little longer. Oh well.
It's okay.
But yeah, no. I find role playing a lot like improv. So if you suddenly drop something on me, I'm gonna roll with it and we will make it work, even if it makes absolutely no sense for it to make it work. And that's another reason why me and D&D don't get along, because it's like, so many rules. I gotta follow. I don't want to break the rules. I don't want to be overpowered or whatever, or do something I'm not supposed to do, but I also want to be powerful enough where I don't feel like I'm a level 1 archer or whatever, right? Which I probably am.
Sure. Well, I mean, every campaign, I don't know, there's campaigns that start at level 10.
Oh, yeah,
it just is up. It's just up to, like, of course, it's up to your group. And the same thing. The perfect thing is, the wonderful thing about D&D is the rules are more like
guidelines.
Yeah. The DM has the master say, and the DM will always have the master say, and everyone who fights that is dumb and needs to shut up. DM has master. And yes, session 0 is again an area where the DM sets the rules of, like, okay, we're in the system, but changing these things, this, and this. And if you're really good, you have a Google document like we do, so we could always go back and figure out, wait, did this change? But
yeah, I have reference threads on my thing, so it's like, shit, what was that character's name from forever ago? Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah, we even have a thing called the Obsidian Portal, where we also the DM controls it, and he could put NPCs in, and we put our characters in, and we could fill out stuff, so we could put notes on certain people, and it's like a really good way to, like, categorize and keep stuff, you know, flowing, remembering, not being like, what happened last session?
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, but the final thing I'll say, I guess, is I already said it, but yes and. Yep. Don't know but always yes and, because you'll just find that produces a better, more interesting, fun story that doesn't piss everybody off, you know.
And if you have to kind of get close to the no but, do it like, are you actually suggesting we blah 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 blah, just to make sure that we're all on the same page, and then be like, okay, let's do this, because it's yes and every time, no matter what. No blocking.
Yeah. And, like, if you don't agree with what someone is saying, okay, you don't know, but, like, as a player, say, make it within character. Make your character be like, wait, but I don't want to. That's still yes, you know, yes anding, right? You're like, yes, you said this. My character is going to say this, to be like, but why though? You know, like, what about the demons? Like, the cults might get empowered by the demons, and then they go, yeah, but we're all powerful, and you're just like, you always role play it out. Try and role play it out. Yes, and in the role play. Yeah. If you have a big problem as, like, a player or with the DM, do your best to do that. Maybe a one-on-one after sesh kind of deal.
Exactly. Like, there's we are all people in this regard, so I'm sure if, like, let's say in your session 0 you set up something, and something that is set up will completely destroy something that maybe you had planned. Yeah, they're hidden because you ate them, so they're hidden.
Oh, the dang mini eggs.
I will get them for snack. It's not snack time yet. I don't remember what I was. No, okay. If you were if the DM or the person in control is thinking, like, this is a hard and fast rule of the world, you can talk to them later and be like, this is what I had planned. Is there a way to make it work?
Yeah.
And they'll usually work with you unless they're an asshole. And some are, like, don't get me wrong.
Correct.
But some people are just like, no, this is how we're doing it. And it's like, okay, great. But a smart DM will work with the players as much as, like, push them forward.
Yeah, and they might not give you exactly what they want. Exactly. They might do the no, but they also will no and you. Where
they'll be like, I can't do that, but what if we do this?
Yeah, or you can't do that now, but if you progress here, maybe you could do this. You know, talking always usually ends up solving the problems, both in anime and in role play.
Oh my god, completely off topic, but I was watching a K-drama called Her Personal Life, I think it's called. And there's an episode where there's a misunderstanding. I'm like, no, not a misunderstanding. They talked it out. They discussed it. They spilled all of each other's secrets, including the one that technically could have been hidden. And they talked it, and it was all fine. And I was like, we still have 5 episodes of this shit. What is going on?
Wow.
I love it.
Wow, talking it out in
I
an
know!
anime.
Like
Amazing.
adults. It was amazing. I was like, oh no, this is gonna be a big mistake. Because she leaves her room with a guy that her boyfriend knows likes her, but they're like grew up as family, so she doesn't see him that way. And it was like, oh my god, they talked it out and it's fine. Ah, sorry, but yeah, that was fun. That was my yesterday.
Yep. And that's a lesson you could take everywhere, everyone. Just talk it out.
Communicate.
And preferably not like in front of a classroom or a lecture hall. Try to do that privately.
You mean don't yell at your classmate who's calling you an ignorant person for not understanding what certain religious symbols mean? Even though they were wrong? Okay,
correct.
Well, too late. That's in the past.
I'm just saying, if you want a productive talk, you probably don't want to embarrass whoever you're talking to.
Well, maybe
or strong arm them.
Embarrassed, they shouldn't have
no.
at me in the middle of the classroom.
You know. Usually, if there's an audience, they're more likely to make rash decisions.
Yeah.
If the whole party's there. If your whole party's there and you're like, no, but this works this way, or no,
oh
but
my God,
I wanted to do this.
Don't argue the rules.
Don't do that.
Period.
Don't do that.
Don't argue the rules for any reason. There's no reason to argue the rules. You can talk to the DM later, but do not argue the rules. Like, if the DM says it's okay, fuck off.
Yeah.
That's part of,
again, if you have a problem with it. Well, and if you have a problem with it and you really just want to make sure, again, do that after session. Yeah. And if the DM for some reason is like, oh, crap, you're right, don't retcon. I mean, this is now just advice for DMs. You just make it work and say, wow, your god empowered you to do this, but just so you know, that won't work next time. Like, if you do a rule change, make sure everyone knows.
Yeah, be like, something was brought to my attention, so here's how we're making it make sense, but not doing that again.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, roleplay, fun. You need a group of compatible people.
Yeah,
you guys know what each other likes. Thing, I think. Yeah. And then doesn't have to be systems based. Doesn't have to be D&D. It could be whatever you want.
Doesn't have to be tabletop. Doesn't have to be on a computer. It can just be two people talking in a room with nothing else. No rules, no dice, no nothing.
You just
roleplay is what you make it.
Yep.
And figure out what you like, and then go with it and try. Like, the more stuff you try, the more higher chance you'll find something you enjoy.
Yes.
Or maybe you'll luck out and just love the first thing you ever try. But that's unlikely. Try lots of things.
You should still try a lot. If my dress up doll taught me anything, it's even if you have that one thing you really like, you should still try more things.
Yes, try all the things. In fact, try watching our dress up doll episode, because that was a lot of fun.
It was. Yeah. It was a good episode.
It was. And down the road, I'm sure we'll do a Shield Hero episode and a Spy Family episode, because I've already determined you're watching that show. I will be surprised if you don't like it and don't want to watch it on your own, but if you did, I would understand, because...
Are there 2 episodes out yet?
No, not yet.
When is it update? When is
Sunday?
It update?
Sunday or Saturday, I think.
Okay. All right. I'll add that to the list.
Yeah. It might
because
even
we
be
have
Friday.
We have a 2 episode limit whenever, because we usually sit down when we're eating, and that's when we watch stuff. And I always, after our early dating anime binges, where we binge 2 seasons of Haikyuu really fast, and My Hero, yeah, I did the 2 anime limit unless it fruit baskets us. 2 episode limit. That way we could stretch our shows out.
I should watch the rest of Fruits Baskets just so that we can talk about that.
Yep. That's all I gotta say about that.
Gotcha. Understood. Message received.
Yep.
But yeah, I think based on what little I know of Sal's taste, he'll like it for sure. I think you'll like it. I can't say for sure, because sometimes things don't resonate, and that's okay. People are allowed to dislike and like things that other people like or dislike. Like, we are all allowed to have our own opinion. I'm not going to budge on that. I'm not salty.
Yep.
No self.
People are allowed to like what they like.
Exactly.
Just don't put other people down.
Exactly. Don't be disliking things is not a personality trait, okay? Just gonna put that out there and leave it at that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, yep.
So anyways, this has been our episode.
Yeah, and running away from combat every time isn't a personality trait, just saying you're a survivor. Fuck off. I don't care if you're a survivor. You could be a survivor and not run away from combat and not help every single time. Okay, there we go.
You can run around in the combat and be like a bumbling fool, and that's better than running away from combat every time, in my opinion.
Oh, anyway, this has been our role-playing episode where we went on very many tangents.
Many a tangent! And yeah, I love roleplay because it lets me have my characters actually be in a story, because I'm not writing a story, are you kidding? Nah, I just draw them.
No, you just draw them and say, wow, I had this really fleshed out stuff in my head, but
and it's worth saying.
It's gonna stay in my head, it's never gonna go down on paper, and I'm like, well.
The closest thing to going down on paper is role-playing, and there we go, good. Maybe one day we'll write it. No, probably not. Nope.
I don't know. I got you on face cam once.
Never again. Look, guys, social anxiety is a thing where it's hard to talk to people.
I've heard this too much.
It doesn't mean you don't want to. It just means it's hard. It's around to the beginning.
It's a cute show, but please shut up.
Alright, well, we'll see you next time, where we have no idea what we're going to be talking about.
No, but we'll figure it out, probably.
We'll make it work. We'll we'll bring it all around to the beginning. But for now, bye-bye.
Bye.